Welcome back to CuboldCast. In this episode, we will be talking about the new psychological horror video game, The Medium.
I don't know. It's a weird feeling because I wasn't scared at all in it. I do like psychological horror things, but it wasn't a game that I would consider a horror game.
Yeah. Okay, so this isn't really I was going to say this isn't really a spoiler. In the entire game, we only counted one jump scare.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In the entire thing.
That was kind of random, I'm not going to lie.
It was. It didn't
random.
scare me. You said there was one jump scare in the whole game, and I was waiting for it. And when it happened, I was like, oh, was that it? Because I didn't get scared at it.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, that wasn't scary.
Honestly, I went in not really, I mean, I knew it had some like horror aspects to it, but I went in kind of like with a blank slate, and I walked away with it being a story-based kind of experimental game. Like, in no way
Definitely
am I disappointed that it's like horror, because I didn't even think it was horror.
It was not horror.
So I'm not like disappointed because I walked away with the story and a game that was presented in a way that I've never seen before.
Well, I mean, you did kind of see it. But, okay,
yes.
Are you talking about the fact that it was like the old Resident Evil games, or are you talking about the fact that it's split?
No, well, what I mean is, like, I went in playing the game, like, not having the precursor of thinking, okay, I'm supposed to be getting scared in this game.
Yeah.
I went in with like a totally blank slate, and I just kind of experienced it as it went.
Okay, so, I mean, I don't think anybody knows what this game's about. Like, the people who have never heard of it.
Yeah.
So basically, what this game is about is it's about a woman who
is a medium.
Yeah.
Very unoriginal naming.
Yeah, exactly. And she could basically go into the main world or the what do you
spirit
call
world.
it? The spirit world. Yeah, pretty much. And then the story goes on from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I was gonna say that the game is kind of like I don't know. It's weird. Like, I would say
I
that
had mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, but in terms of like the story, like there are other characters, but it really just like centers around her. Which
there's a couple characters that it centers around.
I feel like I wish there was more.
True.
If you know what I'm saying. Because there are a couple other characters that, in my opinion, were a lot more interesting.
Yeah,
we are going to have a spoiler section, so if you...
Well, it'll be a very brief spoiler section at the end.
There won't be much, but we should have one, because I do want to talk about...
Yeah, for sure.
A few things.
Yeah. So we'll leave a timestamp in the description if you want to just skip.
And if you're not going to play it, you could just kind of listen to it.
Honestly, I feel like not many people are going to play it.
Probably
not that it's like a terrible game.
It got pretty poor reception.
Well,
from a lot of reviewers, too.
Not from Steam, though.
I think
Steam has 9
Is it
out
on
of 10.
Steam?
Yeah.
Really?
9 out of 10 on Steam.
I think we all can agree that the optimization is probably the worst we have
garbage.
ever seen
Utter
in
garbage.
any
Terrible.
game we've ever played.
I watched ACG's review on it, and he was like, apparently this development team forgot that split screen had limitations.
Yeah.
Because you're rendering 2 games at once.
Yeah.
And I was getting 20 frames at certain points.
yeah, since you can go into the spirit world, your screen splits in half, and you're rendering 2 different worlds at once.
They both look different.
Yeah.
So you're seeing the spirit world and the real world at one time.
And it runs like doo-doo.
Even when it's not split.
Yeah, like in the forest
Even
sequences.
when it's not split, yeah.
It was
so
pretty
bad.
The forest was bad.
Which there are games that look so much better and run so much better. So, like the Resident Evil games, the new remakes, those look amazing and run flawlessly.
Yeah.
Ubisoft makes better optimized games than
That's
them.
actually true. That's saying something right there.
I was playing Valhalla last night, and I was like, and JJ was playing the Medium, and then I was like, this game is more optimized than Medium.
Yeah.
I think this was their first game though.
No, it wasn't. Bloober, they did the not Resident Evil. They did Blair Witch.
Oh, really?
I think so. Let me see.
Yeah, they did a bunch of other games that generally their games
are... Oh, they did Layers of Fear. They did Observer.
See, this is where... So next podcast, we're going to have Ricky in the back end, like putting stuff on screen. So this would be the time where that would be great, because then Ricky would tell us, or like be able to search things that we can...
Yeah, we kind of just jumped into it today. But next week, we're going to have a lot better of a setup, because we'll have multiple camera angles. Mm-hmm. We'll have things being able to be pulled up for the video viewers. If you're on audio, I'm sorry about that, but you can go to YouTube at CuboldCast, and you can view our video podcast there.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be a lot more interactive next week, or not next week, but the next podcast.
And eventually we want to get to be live so we can actually interact in real time with the viewers.
Mm-hmm. I actually heard Layers of Fear.
Well, we'll see.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I want to do that. I want to do some sort of live show eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually,
because it's a lot of fun interacting with people.
The chat, like, I don't know, maybe there'll be a section for that.
Yeah,
because
maybe not our main podcast, but at least some sort of live thing.
Oh yeah, that would be really fun.
Well, I mean, maybe eventually, because they do the joining thing, the button on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
We could.
We could
do like you pay like $2 a month, and we could do like special.
That's true.
Maybe like a section that would only be on YouTube, like not on other platforms. Or something.
And you could just like ask us questions, like Q&As, different things like that.
Yeah, we'll have
really
like fun little mini games we do with each other. And
yeah,
all
but I don't know. I think you have to have like 500,000 subs before you can actually do the join button.
Really?
I think so. Something like that.
Let me check.
We're like, YouTube, please let us get it. Silently drop the join button. I don't see it. I see a lot of different links here.
I don't know. You might. I don't know, actually.
YouTube. Sorry, audio listeners.
Yeah, we're kind of looking up stuff right now.
Trying to figure this out.
You should have at least 20,000 subscribers, and its views should be more than 1 million overall.
Oh, we have more than 1 million views.
Oh, okay.
Overall, yeah.
We'll get there eventually.
Probably by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet we will.
Yeah,
we're almost at 4,000 subs on our channel.
Yeah.
We'll have 4,000 by the end of the month for sure.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
What were we saying?
Back to the medium. Yeah. Bloober team. They did Blair Witch, Observer, Layers of Fear 1 and 2.
Which Layers of Fear looks fun.
Yeah.
Layers of Fear. The second one. Layer of Fear looks fun. I think we all own the first one.
They gave it away on Epic, right?
They did Blair Witch too.
On Epic, yeah.
Yeah.
Blair Witch was okay.
Never played it.
You played it?
I played it on the Xbox Game Pass.
Was it scary?
It was more of a walking simulator. There wasn't too much to it.
Oh. Yeah, I saw a lot of people online saying that Bloober's games are generally like kind of boring in a lot of ways. Like there's not a lot of substance to them.
Yeah.
I've never played a lot of their other games, so I can't comment on that. But what I can say is that the medium felt to me kind of like a Plague Tale. I don't know why, but I had the same feeling while playing it. Like there were certain sequences that I liked and others that I didn't.
Yeah.
But then again, Plague Tale was more optimized, had better graphics.
Yeah.
Way better story.
Well, I did tell you this earlier. Towards the end of the game, I definitely felt a when is this going to be over moment. Because it was just like, it was kind of getting...
Yeah, for me, I got that at the water puzzle.
What is the word? I can't think of the word.
Tedious,
yeah.
That puzzle in particular was very tedious.
It was.
And I didn't even want to bother, so I looked up a walkthrough for that, so I just finished that part quickly.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say, actually, I enjoyed this more than Plague Tale.
Really?
Like, in all honesty, Plague Tale was very boring. Like, it was like...
I like the story, though. Until the final boss stuff.
For me, at least. Like, I don't know. Like,
well, there were some really intense sequences that I enjoyed.
The
like
duo
the
was
music.
nice.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like, traveling through the landscape,
well,
it just got kind of boring.
I'm a bigger fan of visuals, in my opinion. If I see good visuals, I'm like, okay, this is really cool.
Yeah.
The medium never had that.
Well, I don't know about
maybe
that.
in a few spots.
Some interesting visuals, but they weren't like good
But in
graphics.
Plague Tale, if you look at Plague Tale, there's so many interesting things. Like you first start the game, you're in this like bright castle area. Then you go
to the forest.
Cool.
Remember
this
the forest?
Yeah, that was, and then you go through the forest, and you go to the mountains, and there's snow. I feel like there's a lot more.
There were more interesting environments.
More interesting stuff.
I would actually like disagree, only because the reason I say that is like, yeah, there was a lot of interesting environments, but in terms of like how the game is presented, I mean, you have two screens. Obviously, optimization wasn't like on top of their list, but you have two different environments that you're seeing at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think
really
about it, the spirit world is like, it's cool, but it's not,
mirror.
It's not jaw dropping.
Yeah, but I think it was like, that's what kept me interested, was it's different.
Yeah.
You don't see that in Plague Tale. It's what you see for years, just different environments, forest, winter.
Yeah, but that's what people
But the environments
like,
didn't look that much similar. Like the main environment was pretty gray and drab.
Yeah.
And there was no major contrast between the spirit world and the physical world.
Well, orange and gray. Spirit World was
a little bit,
completely
yeah.
orange.
And in ACG's review, he had the same critique. He was like, the environments are so gray and dull, like in the main area, that there's not a huge contrast between that and the Spirit World. And so it's not like you see a major difference between the two. I mean, obviously it was red, like reddish, orangish kind of thing. And there were like more grisly things in the environment.
I think in some areas, I think they got a little lazy. Like in some rooms, it was literally the exact same thing, but some bones and things were like switched around.
Yeah.
Although in some areas, like I think on the side of the building, like one end is like forest, and then in the Spirit World, it's like a complete vast like pit of like all kinds of stuff.
Some of the visuals were really cool, like the giant hands in the background.
Yeah.
The audio though was really good.
Yeah,
it was.
I agree.
The sound design, like you hear screams in the background of the Spirit World and all that. I really like the audio.
In terms of like story, I think like first half of the game, I actually was kind of bored. Ending bored, but in the middle,
in the 50 to 99%.
Yeah, like in the middle chunk, story arcs were very good. Like they went into like people that normally like people just write off as like this guy's bad. One thing that they do is they go into the psyche of like characters. So they go into their actual minds and you explore like what happened to them. Why do they turn into this person? Why do they do this thing? And I think that took a little more time, just to go into like those little details and explain why this person is this messed up and stuff like that.
And I thought more highly of the story after I saw an explanation of it. Because playing through it, I was confused at a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And watching a recap kind of showed me like, oh, this is actually a pretty good story, just shown in different bits and pieces as you play.
Yeah. It's not perfect. No way.
Yeah.
It's, like, I think like start to finish, it is a little like cut and dry, but in the middle, that middle section where you get to explore like more characters and more characters come in besides.
Well, there's only a couple characters that.
There's like 6 maybe.
Well, yes, but you don't really get to you explore like maybe 3.
Yeah,
I think there's 3 dream sequences.
Yeah.
That you get to really see.
There's only really 2 main ones though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I wish there was more. Or well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. It might have. If they added more, they might have gotten lazy, kind of like what they did with some areas in the world.
Yeah. I also had a bug where I couldn't finish a certain puzzle because the screen was so zoomed in that one of the buttons went off screen.
What?
It was the globe puzzle. There's a
towards
puzzle
the
where
end.
no, it's in the middle.
Is it?
Where like you put the ring. Shut up, phone. I thought I turned it off.
Nice job.
Yeah, you put the rings on the globe and you have to position it a certain way. Well, you press the rings and they go up. Well, for me, they went off screen and I couldn't select them to make them go back down.
Oh, I know. You make the face or whatever?
Yeah. And so I couldn't figure it out. So I had to reset the whole segment, get all the stuff again, and then redo it. So that was an issue for me. Like I had to restart that.
Yeah.
And in the car on the way here, I said another thing that kind of, it was kind of funny where in one of the dream sequences, there's this monster chasing you. It was the dog one.
Oh, yeah.
You know where you drop the bookshelf? And he's like, bleep you, beast, or whatever?
Yeah.
He dropped it on the ground. It didn't fall on the creature. The creature was just sitting there staring at me, and then it just despawned. I was just laughing at it because it was
stuff
funny.
like that actually like it kind of makes for a good experience because you can laugh at it.
Yeah, but it's obvious that it wasn't optimized very well.
Oh, exactly. That's the point.
Yeah.
I think it lacks refinement.
Yeah, for sure.
It does, yeah.
There are a lot of little things like that.
Like from the beginning of the game, you can already you could tell. You're like, oh no, what am I in for with the optimization in this game?
No, I didn't notice that till the first forest sequence.
Really?
Yeah, it ran well in the house, and I was actually really excited for it from the beginning. When you go to the spirit world, I think it ran fine for the first time, but then you go to the forest and you're like, oh, your frame rate just tanks on you.
What was I gonna say? Oh my goodness, I was gonna say something. I was gonna make a tie with the Cybertruck.
Cybertruck?
That's so like out there, but oh yeah, no. What I was saying is, or I was saying something about this before, but like the whole split thing, obviously like it was horribly optimized, but I like me personally. I like when people do different things, like with the Cybertruck. Like people think it looks. I mean, it does look kind of weird. It looks, funny. It looks like someone drew it. Like it's like a cartoon drawing. But
yeah.
I actually prefer that because it's so different from industry standard, what's been used for years. No one does anything different. The F-150 or whatever. I don't know trucks, but they all look the same. But finally, someone said we're gonna do something different, and they put out something that's way out there. And this isn't like way out there, but it's something different, and I think I can appreciate that. And I think that's like one of the few saving graces of this game is because it's if you play it, you may not like love it, but you're gonna be getting something different that you haven't seen before.
Oh yeah.
See, I agree to a certain extent, but I think it wasn't implemented as well as it could have been.
No way.
I personally think it would have been better if they skipped the split screen and made you have the ability to switch between the two.
Oh, like with a button?
Yeah, like you switch back and forth. Like you see an invisible wall, and so you switch to the spirit world, and you're like, oh, I can clear this or get through here. It would save your frame rate and make the game more playable.
That actually would have been it. Yeah. But I mean, hey, someone's got to introduce something so that the next person can pick it up and make it even better.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of nice to see that people are actually trying something different rather than just making another one of those.
It was a very interesting concept that wasn't pulled off very well.
Yes.
No.
But I mean, overall, I liked the game. I wouldn't have paid full price.
Same.
No.
Like it's definitely a Game Pass game.
Yeah. If you do want to play it, go get Game Pass.
Is it still $1?
I doubt it.
If you get Nitro, you get it for free, right?
Oh yeah,
just
for
for
a
Nitro?
month. For a month, but that's only if you've never done it before.
Oh, true. They always have dollar sales for Game Pass though.
For 3 months.
Yeah, that's really good.
And it's the ultimate, so you get all the good stuff.
I mean, even if you paid $15 a month, there's so many games on there.
I know.
Even though Windows Store is terrible, but
pull it up right now. You can see what all the major games are on there. I think
for
they added
Game Pass?
For Game Pass. Yeah,
there's quite a few.
Astroneer, right?
Yeah, that's on there. There's a Deep Rock Galactic.
Call of the Sea.
I think Red Dead was on the Xbox One.
Wait, this is new. Doom Eternal, Fallout 76,
Whoa,
Dishonored
what?
2,
Yeah.
Wolfenstein Youngblood, Rage 2, Skyrim.
No way.
There's a lot on there.
Oh, this is the Bethesda collection. Well, all the Wolfensteins, all the Fallouts.
That's good value.
Evil
insane.
Within's, Prey, Oblivion.
Evil Within.
I wanted to play the
same
second
genre.
one.
I didn't play it, but I saw my brother play through it.
It's the same genre, but the first one is really good.
Evil Within is
The
way
first
more
one is?
horror than this game.
I thought you said you wanted to play the second one.
I want to play the second one because I played the first.
Oh, you beat it?
Pretty sure. I played a lot of it.
I know the story. Like I've seen most of the first one. I saw my brother play through the whole second one, so I know the story, but I wouldn't mind playing it through myself.
Like some of those monsters are really creepy.
Yeah, especially that one sequence near the beginning, the chainsaw.
With the pig?
Oh, the chainsaw one, yeah. There's a
pig or
kitchen one
whatever?
too. Like the chef.
Oh,
I think
wait,
it was a chef.
Do you go under the table?
I think so. Remember there was like a guy had a meat cleaver or
Yeah.
something?
Oh,
Yeah,
Control
you chop
is
your
on
head
there.
off.
Really bloody.
Yeah.
Control is on Game Pass.
I wanted to play
Uh-huh.
Control too. And for some reason, this game looks similar to Control.
Yeah, but Control runs much better.
Yeah.
I bet.
I mean, because the main characters look the same.
Yeah.
They look so much alike.
The main character's voice acting was kind of but there's what's that one actor? Troy Baker?
Yeah,
He had an amazing performance in there.
he was the Ma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Troy Baker was in The Medium.
He was the creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ma.
Oh yeah,
Troy Baker had an amazing performance.
Oh, he
as
did, yeah.
usual.
dude. Troy Baker's my favorite.
I also thought there's another character named Tom. His voice acting was really good.
yeah.
His overall character
I
acting.
didn't recognize the nickname.
Well, Tom is Tommy.
I liked him better than the main character.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He was. Whenever he was like there, it was like perfect. Or I don't know. I was excited
what you
for
were
it.
saying in the car on our way here. Basically, she was a different medium.
What's that?
Can you explain that again? Like she was a different type
Oh,
of medium.
yeah.
No, but I don't want to
Separate.
explain that because it's
Spoiler section, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I see, I
because
see.
yeah,
It ties in with the story.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
How did you guys feel about the main character, like in general?
I didn't think she was all that interesting.
No.
She was okay.
I think later on, as you get to know her a little more, she was like, you can kind of like not care about her, but you kind of like connect with her a little bit. But towards the beginning, I was like, wow, this is like so cut and dry.
Yeah, even with her and Jack, her stepfather that dies like before the game starts. That wasn't even that interesting to me.
No.
Like she didn't even seem to care about him that much. But when she met Sadness, this girl in the spirit realm, it started to change because I liked their little relationship there.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Sadness was a great voice actor as well.
Yeah, the little girl is better than the main character.
Yeah. There was some weird lines. I don't know if you guys caught them, but like, what was it? She said like, I don't know, it was really awkward. I was kind of cringing, but she said like a line where she's like, oh, Bolt Cutter. She's like, sounds like a spy name. Bolt.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, what is this?
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah.
I also pointed out to Chug yesterday, I was like, can she stop saying the obvious? Like, you go into the spirit realm and there's an object behind one of those things you cut with a razor. Yeah. And she's like, there's something behind there. And I'm like, I know this. You don't have to say what you're thinking.
Yeah, a little overboard with the...
Like, they didn't have to have her talk as much as she did.
Yeah, true.
Like, she just wasn't an interesting character.
Yeah, I think a lot of that kind of went... I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but it either went away or I kind of connected with her a little more later on in the game because I didn't really like notice much of like those types of things later. Because like I like later on I kind of like I didn't like her like a lot, but
in the
she grew on me a little bit.
The beginning part, you're kind of like, she got that call from the dude, and she just randomly goes.
Oh yeah, she goes to an abandoned resort, and she's just like,
why would you just randomly go to an abandoned place? It's because somebody told you to go.
No, he said something. I forget what he said.
Yeah, he did say something specific, but still.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like how the narration is told. You find out that it's actually related to the story.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. That was great.
That was really cool. I like that.
Wait, which part?
You know how she starts out the entire game telling the story?
Oh yeah,
and it's actually related to the story itself.
Yeah, true.
You catch up to that point.
Yeah.
When I got to the point, I was like, oh, this is where it is.
Yeah. Like I was wondering why she was just like sitting there talking.
That was actually good.
They explain it. That was really cool.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
But that was really nice.
That was one of my favorite parts of the story.
The game does have some good things about it.
Yeah,
it does.
I think it is worth playing if you're a fan of like. I never played the Silent Hill games, but apparently it's more like the Silent Hill games than it is Resident Evil.
Although they did take some stuff from Resident Evil.
Oh, it's true.
Bolt cutters.
But I think I can't comment on Silent Hill because I've never played any of those.
Yeah.
But I think it's more like Silent Hill than Resident Evil. But yeah, if you like that genre, don't expect anything scary. Don't expect anything groundbreaking.
It's more psychological.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ma was pretty scary.
I didn't think he was scary. I liked the voice actor. Like his performance was really good. Well, the chase sequences were kind of annoying to me.
The first one I liked. Then it got a little tedious, especially the hiding sequences.
The chase sequences for me, if you get stuck at on something, like if you
that's the way Little Nightmares is too. Though.
I never got those, but I can see how that's really annoying.
Yeah, because the frame rates for me, I don't know why, but it was like dropping in those sequences, and so it was like there was like delay on the controller.
Well, the very first chase sequence, I had an issue with it because there was like this really long cutscene, and then it just cuts to the chase sequence, and I was still watching. I didn't realize it was supposed to be gameplay, and so I just died because I was like, oh wait, I was supposed to play that, and there was no prompts at all to actually play.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm actually supposed to move here, and it wasn't really explained very well.
Yeah, there are these like. Aside from the chase sequences, which I didn't mind, I didn't run into the issue, so I can see how you guys feel that way. Because if I did,
well, are you thinking of the stealth sequences or the chase sequences?
The chase sequences I didn't really mind too much.
The chase sequences were okay,
but the stealth ones,
those were just awful.
Those were
downright terrible,
annoying because it got to the point. I forget what other game we had an issue like this before. But
Plague Tale.
Was it Plague Tale?
Was it?
They had bad stealth in that. Their AI was terrible.
Well, that was like, the AI was awful. But I mean, like, it kept happening, and every time it happened, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This again? And then we went, like, I forget what game that was.
Was it Resident Evil 7?
It might have been with the dude, Mr. X.
Possibly, yeah.
Maybe.
Whenever he showed up, like, it got to the, I think it was. It got to the point where, like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, he's here again.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I actually don't like that style of monster in games.
No.
That they're not scary, but they're more just to annoy you and to build tension, which it does make you more tense, yeah, but you can't enjoy the puzzles as much because you got to look over your shoulder.
A good horror game is one that can allow you to breathe in some areas, allow you to relax and kind of like solve a puzzle.
Well, in Resident Evil 2, you can.
Until the monster shows up.
Mr. I had what that main issue is Mr. X.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning, like it was, wow, I just moved my entire table. No, at the beginning it was like, it was fine, but then it got to the point where he kept showing up.
See, I don't know how the original was, because I know he was in the original, but did you have to like run around and avoid him? Because you literally would just have to run around in circles until you lost him.
There are safe spots. There was like 4 or 5 safe spots, and you didn't even realize there were.
But that's still kind of lame though. Like you stand in the door and he's staring at you and just can't walk in the room.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that was just a bit annoying.
Did they explain that in any way? Like why that was?
I think they might have. I forget. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Other than just gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a real reason.
Maybe give you a spot to breathe and let him get away or whatever. I'm not sure.
I think like another thing about the story that I kind of like was that they got into some like pretty deep psychological stuff.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned this before, like they go into like characters and they go into their psyche and like why they do things. And I think like some of the things they play with is kind of deep, which I thought was interesting.
The very first sequence where you go into a character's mind,
mm-hmm.
I thought the payoff was very interesting.
Yeah.
Like the very end of that sequence. It starts off, you're in this maze. I'm not going to spoil it, but you run around that maze for a while, and I was kind of getting annoyed because I didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
And they bring you back to the maze, I think like 3 times total. But they keep bringing the story along every time. By the end of that sequence, I was like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
But the very first time you're dropped into that maze, it was annoying. I don't know if you had that issue.
I just went wherever. It worked out.
I was running around in circles, like trying to find the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't exactly fun just sprinting around trying to find the next area.
Yeah. But I agree. The payoff was really good because it definitely like showed, like, oh, this person's messed up, but there's kind of like a reason for it. Not that it's like right in any way, but they weren't just lazy and said like this guy's a bad guy and that's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, they did that for a lot of characters, or 2 characters mainly.
Yeah.
Like 2 villain characters, but they're also like good in a way.
Yeah. Oh, back to the mall real fast. Like, I think, like even though it got annoying, he did still like, I think the character in general and like his whole like thing that he does is like pretty creepy. If you think about it, like it doesn't just affect you in the real world, but he tortures you in the spirit world as well. Like it's like your soul and your body like are being tortured at the same time. It's like it's pretty creepy, creepy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the concept of the spirit world was kind of interesting, although I felt the rules were kind of sloppy. Like I didn't really figure out what the rules were for that world. Like how do people exist in there? Why can't she just send anything away? Like why couldn't she send that creature away when she could send the child eater creature away?
Spoiler section. There's a reason why she couldn't send the creature away.
Oh, okay.
But in terms of like the rules, it is kind of like weird. They're kind of like arbitrary.
Yeah, they exist for the story alone.
I think you need like the name
and an object
that's theirs. Yeah,
something like that.
And I find it kind of weird. Like, why are there just random hands around the spirit world? I mean, it looks like a great visual.
Yeah,
but is there any reason besides visuals that
I don't know? And Chug, you said it's supposed to be like purgatory or something.
Yeah. It's like an in-between.
Did they explain the mask thing? That any creature that's in purgatory or whatever needs to have their mask in order to be sent away?
I don't know about... I don't know if they said anything about it, but I didn't look that up, no.
Yeah, I didn't get the mask thing.
I don't know. There was a lot that was unexplained.
Yeah. And plus there's an end credit sequence too, which I don't know what that's supposed to imply.
Oh, I saw that. Did you watch a video that showed that or explained that?
No, I watched the sequence because I saw that there was in a comment thread.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if they're gonna make a second game. I don't know if they could.
If they do, they'd have to change some stuff around. It'd have to be like a different setting, a different story,
or do it differently, or.
Well, they couldn't go
maybe do a different character.
Yeah, well, I mean, they couldn't like go back to like the Ma or no,
not the Ma.
No, they can't go.
The
back
Ma's the monster. It was Neva as I keep calling.
Yeah. I don't like. That was weird.
Is a German letter. I don't know why.
Maybe find a different place with better,
did it take place in
visuals.
Germany? Or was it Poland?
It was because it had ties with the Red Army and stuff like that. Or
Well,
I don't know.
There was a lot of stuff with Poland.
Yeah.
About like World War II Nazi
that was
stuff.
a place like wasn't that like an orphanage?
No, it was a resort.
Neva was
resort.
was
Yeah,
a resort. The orphanage was next to it. No, it wasn't.
There wasn't an orphanage. I don't.
No,
think.
there wasn't.
But he owned the.
He built a house on the property.
Yeah, I think orphans were kept there though, or at least like mediums, like special children with like.
See, I don't remember
because
that.
there was that sequence where they were going through the pool area, and then the little girls and the boy.
Oh,
they were
those
all
are just
talking.
those are kids from the resort.
That is possible.
No, it's not possible. That's the way it was. Those kids were murdered by the creature. You hear them get murdered in the
not
sequences.
Bernard though, because I don't know if you read the notes, but Richard was talking about Bernard, and I think he had like autism or something, and he was saying how this kid, like, he doesn't know where he's drawing all this information, but he's drawing from the spirit world, like all these like depictive things.
Because you send the kids away.
Yeah,
like 2 of them, and Sadness was the other one.
Yeah, I think the main character can only send people. Oh no, you can't. But she does it in a certain way.
Yeah, she has to like say their name, and if she knows their name and they have their mask, they can be sent to heaven? I don't know.
I think the mask was like representing who they were because they lose themselves over so many years in the spirit world. Like they don't remember, because I think Sadness didn't remember either.
She had the mask though.
She did. I don't know. I have no clue.
It's very confusing.
I mean, it is an interesting concept.
It is,
and it was creepy, like seeing the things of past, like hearing about the Neva massacre and all that.
Yeah,
like that was pretty creepy.
Yeah,
it was interesting, and I did like how all the story tied together at the end.
Yeah.
So there were some good pluses about the game.
There were,
and they didn't really.
It was enjoyable to play through.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think so. And they didn't hold back with like, you know, you were mentioning the kids and stuff, like you know, and you see like, no, you don't see it, but like previously, like kids were murdered and like tortured both in like
like you see the
world.
Not even just kids, but like you see like the wheelchair with all the blood in it and stuff. Like that's really creepy. Like I'm not gonna say until a spoiler section, but people that like cared about each other all of a sudden were just possessed and went crazy.
Yeah,
it's pretty serious stuff.
Yeah, we're like 30 minutes in. We could jump into the spoilers.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I want to talk about it because there's a lot to talk about. So
what's the first part you were saying?
Just spoiler warning. I'll give it like another few seconds. Past this point, we're going to be talking about every spoiler of the game that we can think of. So if you don't want to be spoiled, maybe go to another podcast. But if you don't care, then just keep listening through. So, what were you saying?
I don't know. What was you were mentioning they didn't explain why the maw couldn't be sent away. The reason for that is because her little sister Lily, she had to be sent away in order for the maw to be sent away, because her spirit was split into 2 halves. The maw being the part of her that was, you know, tormented as a child. She was her as a child, and that part of her is like the maw.
Yeah, but she was gonna send Sadness away, and then Sadness said she didn't want to be sent away yet.
She couldn't because Lily was still alive. So she had to kill her and then send her away, and that would send Sadness and the maw away.
Oh, so we were saying she's a different medium. Marianne's a different medium. So the way mediums work in the game is that half their soul exists in the real world and half their soul exists in the spirit world. Well, Marianne's mom died in childbirth while giving birth to her, and that somehow fractured it to the point where she existed in both worlds at the same time. Not just her soul was split.
That's why it's the same on either side.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
When Thomas, her father, they're actually like 2 separate people. So they talk to each other.
I like Thomas a lot.
Thomas was a
really
good character,
and
I like
really good.
I like how they're split. Like I like the spirit version of him is kind of like the bad butt version.
Yeah,
but like the real life version of him, I mean, like he's also, you know, like.
Well, he was more worried about his family.
Yeah, but like the bad version, or not the bad version, but the spirit version of him, like he's like when he goes in, he's like when you play him, you feel powerful.
Yeah,
he actually can protect himself.
Like he like uses the force on the things in there.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love those sequences.
I saw that it was because Thomas kind of filtered all his negative emotions and feelings to the spirit side. So that's why he's worse than him and doesn't really have a lot of compassion, even though he obviously cares about the kid still. Yeah.
Like, yeah, when he meets Marianne later on, like he almost references her as being not his daughter, but the real world's daughter. It's kind of weird, but then again, like later on, he calls her like, I forget what he calls
Butterfly.
her. Yeah, he's like, you can't save everyone, Butterfly or whatever. So
yeah,
it's weird.
And then he actually like held off the creature, so you don't even know if the spirit one is still around anymore.
Well, the end sequence. So that could be either two things. So it can either be the spirit. That was actually Thomas because he picked up his stopwatch. So that can be the spirit Thomas, indicating that he lived, or it could be the real Thomas because people have went into like some of the notes and stuff like that, and I think the real Thomas was trying to get into the spirit world as well, like him into the spirit world, and that's why he couldn't feel him. So that could be him leaving or the spirit one leaving.
Well, he was researching in that bunker, which he discovered that bunker underneath the place, and he built his house above it. And he was researching because he wanted to separate himself from his spirit one. Yeah. So he actually lined the complete interior of that bunker with salt.
Yeah.
Because he found that it separated him from the other one.
Yeah.
And he almost kind of like locked him in a prison when he was in silence.
But he also locked Lily in there too.
Because the monster was going to break out.
Yes.
Yeah, so that she like made a deal with the Maw, and
that let him out.
He saved her and Marianne's life, but it let him out. Like I don't know where the Maw was before.
It was in her that that's the thing.
From
like
the old guy, the old friend of the family.
Yeah, that the old friend of the family. Like when he hurt her like soul split into sadness.
Nobody really thinks what. Like they don't know if it was
he abused her in some way,
or like molested or something.
I think
like
it was
some way.
Yeah,
did something. No, it's not like specifically said.
Yeah,
but going back to that same guy, Richard, his sequence with like the whole hiding Jews thing, that was interesting. That was kind of like hard hitting almost in a way. Like you find out. You're not sure why Richard was bringing his friend food, like in the maze, and she gives him some object, which in the third sequence you see it's the Star of David, and you realize, oh, she's a Jew too, and she's actually being hidden in one of these houses.
Yeah, and his stepfather was a spy for the Germans.
Wait, so how was he hung?
He was hung by the Soviets
after the war.
After they found out, because the mom said that she called the Soviets because she knew that he ratted on the Jewish family.
Yeah.
So the Jewish family died. And that's like a part of Richard that, like, I mean,
and that's why he was
sad.
he liked Lily a lot because she reminded him of the little girl that he would.
And even his stepdad also abused him too.
Yeah. But he even said like, he loved her like in the pure like innocent, child way or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really like it is hard hitting because it's really sad. Because it's like it ties in like real world stuff, along with like the game story. Because like that stuff, that stuff happened and stuff. Pretty sad.
Going to the end sequence, when it like cuts off and then the credits roll.
Oh yeah.
Why did the Maw need? I mean, yes, she needed her body, Marianne's body.
Okay, so
but the thing is, why, if she killed herself, wouldn't she just be like
that's
open
why
to go around and still kill?
No. So the end sequence was kind of weak because of the rules that they already had established. The Maw wanted Marianne's body because she existed in both worlds.
Yes.
So if he was able to possess her, he could exist in both worlds simultaneously. But the thing is, if she killed herself, then he would still exist in her sister's body. Like he already killed tons of people just existing in his sister's body or her sister's body. So what would be the point of shooting herself? I mean,
Maybe
he won't be able to
didn't want to kill her.
That's true, yeah, but more people would die after that anyway.
True.
I think I don't know if she said this or was in an explanation video, but I think the point of killing herself was that the Maw was already losing like power, and I think he couldn't go too far. Like he had to stay with Lily in some way, and he would eventually die out because he didn't have anyone else to possess. And Lily was kind of like his Lily was his tie to the world, but he would possess I think the first person he possessed was the nurse, and she loved Richard at some point, and so that was the first murder. That's what the wheelchair was.
She also massacred tons of people. In the resort.
But that he was a vegetable at that point, and you see like all the blood everywhere.
Yeah, because Thomas like literally banished his soul from his body.
Yeah,
and actually the act of doing that is what brought what was the dude that came to his house to beat him up?
Henry.
That brought him there because when Thomas was 18, he was experimented on by the Polish government because of his medium abilities, and he actually developed the ability to go into their psyche and kind of banish their souls.
Kind of like the sequence that
exactly like that.
Yeah.
And he did that, and he was able to escape because he did that to his captors.
Yeah.
And then when he did that to Richard, the Polish government found out about that, and they sent Henry there to get him or do something to him.
That was a really interesting story arc.
I really liked that.
Yeah, because Thomas was like, I think he was originally with the Germans, wasn't he? And then when they were liberated in some area by the Red Army, and they took him in.
I don't know how he got there to begin with.
But I like that story arc. Thomas was a great character.
He really was, yeah. Even both sides of him, like there's the dark side and there's the good side.
And you see like similarities, but they're also different. You know, like the dark side is obviously more tough and stuff like that.
Like you think he's bad at first.
I thought he was bad.
And then you find out he actually has motivations to be good.
Everybody in the game wasn't really bad.
They were.
Well, maybe the government...
Even though they had a torn childhood, it doesn't give them license to be a horrible person.
Richard, no.
They're still bad. Richard was a bad dude. Even though he sounded innocent and stuff, he still had bad parts about him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you saw his soul as the child eater, and that's what his soul looked like.
Yeah.
He was bad on the inside.
That was his that was his sins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what's weird is no one, if you guys notice, the souls she's encountered, they don't want to be there. Like Richard's soul, I think they call it the child eater. Yeah. He was begging her to let him leave and not exist anymore or whatever.
Well, why was she the one to do that?
It had to be done by a medium.
Yeah. Mediums help people pass on if they can't.
Richard could do it. Or not Richard. Thomas could do it too.
I don't think he wanted to, though.
Yeah. That's what he did to the people's bodies. He literally banished their soul even before they were dead.
So they'd be vegetables.
Yeah. They were just a shell of a body.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And Sadness says at one point he became hollow. He just didn't have anything on the inside.
Yeah.
He was just a body. That's it.
The lore is kind of interesting. Just talking about aside from gameplay stuff, just the whole concept is really interesting. With the spirit world and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
The whole medium thing is interesting too. I don't really know a whole lot about real life or fake medium or anything like that, but I mean the fact in the game that they made it interesting is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. I knew it was about I knew it was called the medium, but I didn't know if it meant that kind of medium. I didn't know if it meant a medium between. I mean, it means a medium between two places. Basically.
I didn't know it was that. Yeah, I didn't know either until I forget when. But I think you were watching when I was playing. I was like, oh, the medium, a medium.
Yeah. In between.
But I guess since this is spoiler section, the Maw, like how he works is really interesting too. Like he first possesses the body, like we talked about the nurse. He goes on a killing spree, and the like human body, if they aren't like a medium, they can't take that kind of like possession or whatever. So their body, like he can't wear them for long. That's why he wants to wear. He keeps saying like, I want to wear that skin suit. Like, or at one point he says, let's play dress up and you'll be the dress. Like it's really creepy.
Yeah.
So not only does he wear their body, but he tortures their soul as well.
It's weird because he's also kind of childlike, even though that he's evil. He's the evil child side of Lilianne that was separated. Like Sadness is still stuck in the child state.
Yeah.
And so is he, but he's evil.
That's why the whole like her soul was split, is because that happened when she was a child. She was abused by Richard when she was a child, and that's why she's still in that state as a soul or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to have Ricky here because he can throw a picture of the Maw up, but imagine like this really tall creature with like wings,
like
and
dragon wings, and like he had like a weird T-looking thing on his head.
3 fingers.
You remember in Forsaken and Destiny? They have those helmets that kind of, what is it? Like, it's the golden helmets?
Maybe. But I thought it was a pretty creepy looking design. I mean, it wasn't...
At first, I remember the first time, like, you see him, I'm like, what is this? And then I was like, okay. It's pretty creepy.
I see a review. It says review. The medium both impresses and disappoints. That's how I feel about it too.
Pretty good summary. I mean,
there's a lot of bad and there's a lot of good. Oh yeah, and I think they kind of even out to make a very average game.
Yeah, I did enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
With his head.
Yeah, the head.
Yeah,
it was very similar. Very similar.
Like it wasn't a bad experience.
No, I mean I enjoyed the experience, but I can definitely see the errors. Oh yeah, I think I can overlook them. Like in terms, because I like the story, I like the lore behind it. Mm-hmm. Like it's interesting, and I think just because of that, I can kind of overlook the issues.
Yeah, I like games that at the very end they kind of explain other things from down at the beginning of the story, which is why you should play BioShock.
Oh yeah, still gotta play that.
I would love to do that for our next podcast.
It depends. Well, I have to play.
It's not a very long game.
Yeah,
it took me about 10 hours to beat.
Maybe.
And I wasn't really speedrunning it, but I was kind of like going a little bit quicker. I wasn't like listening to the audio stuff and different
It's a game that once you start it, you're really engrossed. It says 11 to 12 hours here. I felt like I completed it sooner than that, but...
It's a pretty long game comparatively to other ones.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be cool to do all the BioShock games in one.
That would be a long one, wouldn't it?
It would be a big podcast.
They're all around the same time to beat, so it's like maybe 30 hours to beat all 3.
Yeah, I do want to play all of them.
And I would recommend playing the Infinites DLCs.
I have to play 2. I've never played 2.
The only thing I haven't played from the whole entire series is Minerva's Den DLC from 2. I heard that one was like really good.
My favorite thing about Infinite is when you go back to Rapture.
That's the DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first DLC of Rapture. The second one was kind of eh.
The second DLC was in Rapture.
I know. It was in Rapture. There were 2 parts of the Rapture one.
Yeah.
But the first one was really good, and the second one I didn't really like as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in another podcast.
I'm lost here.
Sorry.
It's totally you.
I just love that series, so.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so good.
We'll see. Maybe, I'll try. But we definitely have to see. I mean, maybe.
It's really
There's definitely a lot of games I have to play.
What is it? I wouldn't mind, like, we could do that for a stream too.
What, BioShock?
Play through BioShock, yeah.
I wouldn't have
you play it, because we've played it multiple times.
That'd be kind of fun.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. We have a lot of ideas that we have to work out.
Yeah, and maybe like 2 streams we could beat it, like 5-hour streams or something.
Yeah.
Maybe more than that, probably. Maybe like 3 streams.
Yeah.
3-4 hour streams if it's 12 hours.
Yeah.
If you want to get all the lore in.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't watch all the different little audio tapes because they leave like little tape recorders around that kind of explain things.
Well, I mean, you gotta pick them up and listen to them as you explore.
Yeah.
Because when you grab them, the recording starts and you kind of listen to it then.
Would you consider that a horror game? Yeah, right.
Yes and no.
In a way. It's very creepy at the start, but then it takes a turn to be more of like an action game with a creepy atmosphere. So it's not really horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, towards the beginning though. Yeah,
yeah, it definitely looks really interesting, and I remember seeing like my brother play.
The story is so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I remember talking to Mr. Ron about it.
Yeah,
he was like, he really loves that game.
And it's one of the games where don't look up spoilers at all.
No. Well, I usually don't. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if I look up a spoiler, I don't want to play the game anymore because then I know what's gonna happen. And I'm like,
yeah, but BioShock
maybe,
especially
like,
though.
Yeah, unless it's gameplay, like. It's like it has a lot of good gameplay. Then I might play it.
Yeah, some games you don't even play for the story; you just play for the gameplay.
Oh yeah,
Last of Us 2.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to play Last of Us 1 again.
Medium, I preferred the story a lot more than I did the gameplay. The gameplay was very, very meh.
Yeah, it was slow.
I didn't get stuck in any puzzles except when it was a glitch. Like they were all very straightforward.
Yeah, that was an issue that we both had. It was too easy.
What?
The puzzles.
Oh yeah. No.
Like there was a part where you had to do like the family portrait thing. Like
they tell you. She tells you.
Yeah, they tell you that. But we figured it out even before she told you.
Yeah, so we figured it out, and then she told us, and then we're like, wait.
I'm like, oh, three spots, chronological order. I guess I'll just put them there. And it worked.
I got stuck on one, the clock one.
Oh,
but I just didn't know where to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, where do I go from here? But I figured it out.
Yeah, there was a couple times where I got stuck because I missed a little item in the environment. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they were hard to spot, even with the medium ability there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was decent.
Overall, I think I like the story. Gameplay, yeah, not that great. Optimization, terrible. But I think it's an interesting story and premise.
I feel it would have made a good movie or show.
Yeah,
it probably would have. I feel like what they did was they took the concept of the story, and then they made gameplay around that.
Yeah, I could see that being a show.
Yeah,
because like as you get on like later in the narration thing too.
Oh yeah, that would have been a great reveal for a TV show.
That would have been really cool.
That would have been.
Imagine
sick,
the Maw in live action. They can pull it off.
Oh yeah, you didn't need those annoying stealth sequences.
Yeah, but you can also make it. You can make it more horror-y if you did a show.
The very first stealth sequence was so irritating because you walk in the room and there's a scripted thing that happens where it falls on the ground and alerts the Maw that you're there. There's nowhere to run, and so you gotta literally just get caught and do the little burst thing.
Oh, yeah.
That was annoying. Like,
that was
what's the
annoying.
point of stealth if they're gonna have scripted objects fall on the ground and make noise?
Yeah.
And then he respawns like immediately at the entrance.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like those.
That's definitely like the weakest point in my opinion.
And I didn't like how like you don't want to die because you don't want to restart over again.
Yeah.
That's the only reason you don't want to die because like you've been doing this for 10 minutes trying to get past this part and so
yeah, I don't know. I think in general horror games that adapt or like that incorporate that just are kind of weak.
Oh, my wallet just fell.
What?
I wouldn't consider this a horror game though.
No, it's more like
psychological horror.
Yeah,
because that doesn't mean horror. It just means that it just makes you think.
It does mean horror though.
Psychological.
It should mean horror. Or psychological is something that like messes you up more mentally than it does like jump scares and creepy monsters.
Oh, so it is psychological horror then.
I think it's supposed to be, but
I see adventure horror, story rich on Steam anyway. Yeah. Psychological horror, atmospheric, dark.
Yeah, sometimes those tags are kind of.
Some of them are off, way off.
Yeah, way off.
When you see a game on Steam and it has the nudity tag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like Teddy Floppy ear.
Yeah. It's just meme
something
tags.
stupid.
Yeah. I think,
How much is it on Steam?
It's like 40.
50?
It's 50. Wait. 50.
No, that's not worth it. No way.
I wouldn't pay $50 for it.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't have paid 20 for it either.
No, I'd pay 50.
10.
Maybe 20. I might have paid 20. Maybe.
Possibly.
If I knew like this, like just the story, like how the story is, it's interesting. I'd pay 20 for it.
Buy it now. Get it for 50.
No. I already played it.
Replay it.
If you have Game Pass, you should play through it because it's different. You're going to get annoyed, but
yeah, just go in expecting that. Don't expect a groundbreaking game.
Yeah.
Go in expecting easy puzzles, a game that's not scary, and just look for the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which if you're at this point, you've already seen the spoilers anyway, so
it's not really, I don't know.
Well, we didn't go into like a ton of detail.
It's a good experience.
We kind of mentioned pretty much all the major spoilers, but
I mean, for me, I don't play through a lot of games fully, like a lot of story games anyway. I play a lot of like roguelikes where there's not a story connected and you just kind of do it for the gameplay.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have finished it if it weren't for the podcast. Like there's a lot of games that I would like love to play through. This wasn't one that I probably would have finished. And I'm kind of glad that I did because the payoff was good, but it just wasn't interesting enough for the first half of the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think once you get past like the first what do you think, like 2 to 3 hours, then it gets
up
pretty
to the part where Thomas comes into play.
Yeah.
That's when it got good.
And then the dream sequences, Yeah,
Sadness would have kept it going for a little bit, along with the Neva massacre and the nurse thing. That was pretty interesting. But that was the first really interesting thing of the game. And then when Thomas came in, it got good.
Yeah.
He was a good character. I like the voice actor too.
Yeah. I think he's kind of like I don't want to say random, but
yeah, I looked
never
it up.
seen him.
Dude, he
Yeah.
doesn't even have a picture on IMDb.
He did great.
But
Yeah,
he
he did a good
he's
job.
a very, very good
Better
actor.
than Marianne's voice actor for sure.
Yeah. Well, then again, I mean, she also had some weird lines.
And that was just bad writing on
Yeah.
their part.
Yeah.
That, you can't blame the voice actor for that. I don't know. They tried to make
she
it
was
like
a good voice actor.
quirky at certain points.
Yeah,
It's just
it
the
kinda
writing.
it just came off cringe.
I mean, sometimes her voice acting was a bit flat.
Yeah, it's
Like,
true.
They were supposed to have emotion, but she didn't have much emotion in her voice
Yeah.
at that point.
I'm trying to think of like, I thought there was like later on she did get a little like emotional, and it was pretty good. I can't remember when. I think it was when her sister came in.
Well, there was one scene where someone was crying, which is pretty emotional. Was it Thomas? Someone was like crying their eyes out for some reason.
Yeah, well, he was when the house was burning.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's just great. I mean, I don't know who he is, but he's really good.
Oh, that was also interesting too, how they showed the first person perspective of Henry. Like
Yeah.
beating him up. I've never seen games do that. Like that guy was obviously the villain. And it's showing the first person of the villain, like beating on the hero.
Yeah,
It's really weird.
Henry was a good actor or voice actor too.
I don't remember it that much, but
He
yeah.
was very like I don't know, sinister almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was revealed that he was basically just a psychopath and he had no soul to banish.
Yeah,
That was pretty interesting. Like the kid that was trapped in his body was just as psychopathic as he was on the outside.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be, or Thomas finds like the kid version or whatever, like where at the point where that person basically broke, and then he banishes like that. I guess that's their soul or whatever.
No, Thomas didn't banish it. He tried.
Oh, the Henry.
Marianne had to
did it.
banish him.
Who?
The dog.
Oh yeah,
That was
Thomas
Henry.
couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas attempted to, but he didn't have the ability to for whatever reason.
Mhm.
See, I don't know why he couldn't do that, but Marianne could, even though Thomas had way more power shown in there.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Like you see
I wonder
him
if
with
she
like
has more power to banish, and he has more power to do other things.
it's possible, but he also developed his powers more than Marianne did.
True.
He spent years of his life developing that. Yeah.
Maybe he can't banish if they're like that. Like he can only banish people like Richard, where he found the child and he banished it.
Possibly, yeah. Because he wanted to be banished.
Yeah, maybe.
Hmm.
I don't know.
But he also banished a bunch of people that were experimenting on him, too. So you would think that he would be able to do that to them. It's kind of a plot hole.
Yeah.
Because that guy came from the same lab.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know about that. Maybe he just ran into the one guy that couldn't for whatever reason.
A lot of the roles don't like kind of pass through like entirely throughout the game.
I mean, everything's going to have plot holes in it, but
Yeah.
Of course.
I like the experience. Has issues, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I did too. After I finished the game, I was glad I did.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a little bit tedious, the first half.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Chug?
Yeah.
Same thing?
I think the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just about an hour, so I think this is probably a good place to end it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you in the next podcast.